Y'all, this Youthforia Darkest Shade story is wild. In case you missed the What's Up in Makeup special report on Friday on the debacle with Youthforia and their shade extension launch, specifically the deepest shade that they launched, shade 600. If you missed that special report, just know that Youthforia is in some deep trouble. I do have an update on what has happened since that video went live. What has Youthforia's response been? What have they done since the backlash started? And what may be happening at retailers due to the backlash? We also have two beauty brands that have now closed, one that has now been sold, an update on the potential TikTok ban and how that's affecting advertisement on TikTok. It may not be what you think it is. Unilever is paying a settlement for benzene contamination. I have all the details on that. And then we have two very interesting stories in science and then our lighthearted story. The science story is something that I never thought would actually be possible, but it's happening. It's not FDA approved, but it's happening here in the US. Changing your eye color permanently. How is it done? And is that something that maybe you might want to do? And then e.l.f. Cosmetics is at it again with another commercial. So if you were interested in any of that or all of that, hang tight. We are about to jump into it right now. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to What's Up in Makeup Top News, where we talk about everything that happened across the business industry of makeup, cosmetics, beauty, all of that, all in one place. But before we get started into our first story about Youthforia, we need to take just a moment to thank this week's sponsor. Welcome back to my bathroom. Today's video is very kindly sponsored by Nira. Nira is the fastest, most powerful at-home laser treatment for wrinkles on the face, on the neck, on the chest, and the back of the hands. Their patented non-fractional laser technology rebuilds collagen without any redness or downtime. Nira uses the same chip that is used in professional dermatology systems, but it is in a device to provide clinical grade results at home. And the best part of that for me is I don't have to make an appointment and drive to the dermatologist's office and drive back from the dermatologist's office. I can just grab this out of my drawer, 3 to 5 minutes, and I'm done. You probably know that as we age, our skin stops producing as much collagen. This can lead to wrinkles and sagging of the skin. Nira lasers gently warm the skin, achieving the peak absorption in the dermis layers. This process triggers collagen to rebuild, renewing the skin from the inside out. Using Nira is so easy. You just push the button and set the desired strength level. I have mine cranked all the way up to the strongest level. And then you just press it to your skin. When you hear the beep, you know it's time to move on to the next section. And then you just treat anywhere that you want to treat on your face, your neck, your chest, or the backs of your hands. In my morning routine, I use my Nira and then I use their Moisture Lock Hyaluronic Acid Serum. It is fast absorbing and its main goal is to hydrate the skin. The second product that I use is their Youth Renewal Peptide Cream. It is a powerful blend of active ingredients, including 3% of the multi-peptide complex called Matrixyl 3000, as well as 2% are Geraldine. And if you are into skincare YouTube, you already know how fab those ingredients are. Then after that, I just pop on my sunscreen and I'm ready to go for the day. I've tried a lot of skincare tools in my time here on YouTube. I've even turned down some sponsorships from brands because their devices just don't work. Nira was the first device that I found that actually showed real results. Here are some of the pictures I took before I first started using Nira, and then here are some pictures that I took today. My wrinkles are absolutely reduced. I'm about to turn 46 and I get compliments all the time on how young I look, and I definitely credit Nira for some of that. I also recommend you head over to Nira's website because there are a bunch of reviews, hundreds of reviews over there. A lot of them do have before and after photos of their customer reviews, so go check those out as well. As you know, Mother's Day is coming up, and if your mother is anything like my mother, She didn't take very good care of her skin until she started getting older and seeing the signs of aging. Nira makes the perfect gift to help your mom on that path to more youthful skin. And one of the best parts that I love about Nira as a company is that they believe so hard in their products that they have a 90-day Nira challenge. If you or your mom are not 100% satisfied with the results you see with your Nira device, you can return the device for a full refund, no questions asked. Another thing that I love is that they're having a Mother's Day sale, and using my code, you will get 25% off site-wide. So thank you again so much to Nira for once again sponsoring this video. I love partnering with brands that I truly believe in, and that's why I show you Nira so often, is because I genuinely love this brand. I love the skincare products, I love the devices, and I know you will too. And with that being said, my friend, it is now time for What's Up in Makeup. We're jumping right in with the update on Youthforia. Now, just in case you didn't see Friday's video, I don't want you to be completely not knowing what's going on. So here are a couple of clips of TikTokers talking about what happened, just to quickly fill you in.
I'm gonna apply some of the foundation on this side of my face so you guys can see. Let's just go ahead and try to blend this out, you guys. Enough. Who is that color? When we say that we want you guys to make shades for us, we don't mean to go to the lab and ask for minstrel show black. What we mean is to take the browns that you have made, create undertones, and do what you need to do in the lab so it's a darker shade of brown.
This should be a crime. This is what we get when we ask to be included in the beauty industry. Because there's no way in 2024 we are getting this. They just slap it in our face saying, if you want a darker shade, there you go. Here's a black paint for your face. This is truly a crime. We as South Sudanese, we are one of the darkest people on this planet. And if you cannot find anyone among us to match this shade, just know this is not a foundation, neither a skin tint.
Since all of this really started hitting the fan on Monday and Tuesday, and since my video went live, a lot has changed, and also nothing has changed in that Youthforia seems to be laying as low as humanly possible. Like, they are on the ground. They are hiding in a corner. Like, please do not look at me. Don't talk to me. I just want you to forget that I even exist. I am not going to talk to you at all, because it looks like all of the news media outlets across the board, including myself, we all reached out to Youthforia trying to get a comment. It seems they have responded to no one. Also in that, keep in mind here that the Instagram account of a page is kind of the lifeblood of their advertising. It's a great platform to advertise on. Youthforia typically posts at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. I didn't see in their feed that they ever missed a day. I'm sure they did at some point, but honestly, I didn't look that hard. It wasn't worth it. But my point is that they post every single day. They haven't posted since Monday. It's very, very unusual for the brand. But even more than that, they shut off comments on their Instagram account. You cannot comment on a Youthforia post on Instagram right now. Here is the text that will show at the bottom of every single comment section. But what this does in limiting who can comment, it makes it so you can still read existing comments, just there can't be any new ones. I personally noticed that they were shut off early on Friday. It is possible though that they cut those comments off earlier and I just didn't notice, because the last comments I can see on Instagram are from Monday, and they say things like, I hope you guys are prepping for an explanation for that black pigment with a melting smiley face, and also unfollowing because of that malicious attempt at placating black consumers. And also on TikTok, they have completely cut off all of their comments over there. You can't read them and you can't add new comments. They haven't posted any new TikToks either. This is very unusual. They are clearly hiding right now. And as they are hiding, there are more news media outlets covering this. The first one that I saw was Kat Tenenbarge, who keeps up with our beauty space very, very well. She follows it very closely. Her story is posted over at NBC. We also have Today.com, CNN, ABC, The Cut, Business Insider, The Independent, Global News, Pop Sugar, The Root, and Dazed, and so many more are picking up the story. But the thing that might be changing is where you can buy Youthforia. Now, I went on the Wayback Machine and I tried to figure out and see what products were being carried at all of these different retailers, and if I was just making this up in my head. And the Wayback Machine is not perfect. I had trouble figuring out what is new information and what has been since the backlash. So take this piece with a grain of salt. One thing that seems to be very clear is that they are no longer being carried at Credo Beauty. Now, if you search for buy Youthforia, B-U-Y, Youthforia, like you want to buy something, Credo Beauty pops up first as the first ad, and it says something about Mother's Day. Now, it seems like this is a relatively new, title that they put next to Youthforia, but when you click on the link, there's nothing there. There are 4 sites that I found that continue to carry Youthforia products, but they don't carry the foundation. And I don't know if they ever carried the foundation. I'm going to be 100% with you. All I know is that right now you can't buy the foundation, but you can buy other Youthforia products. This includes Beautylish, the Black and Brown founded retailer 13 Loon, as well as the K-beauty site SoCo Glam and the department store JCPenney. The only place where you can buy the controversial Date Night foundation are on the Ulta Beauty website and also on the Youthforia website. One thing that really bothers me about this, that I'm actually quite nervous for the founder, and I know that a lot of people do not have any empathy for her and do not feel bad for her at all. Someone sent me over this TikTok that Fiona Ko-Chan, who is the founder of Youthforia, that she posted on her TikTok not long before the foundation launch, and it really actually hurt my heart a lot because I'm concerned. I'm genuinely concerned.
And this probably has a risk of bankrupting the company. What time is it?
2 a.m.
Why are we up?
Job sucks. Work so hard.
Then
Something that needs fixing, and there's no one else to fix it but you.
I get kicked out of Ulta in a couple months to speed up development time, and I don't know where we stand with Ulta because small brand, you can always get kicked out. I thought I was gonna have more time to finish shades, but I think we're just gonna have to speed up the timeline, change our innovation calendar, and just get it done. Ideal world, we get this done in 4 months, which is basically we're compressing 2 years worth of work in 4 months, which is crazy. But then this probably has a risk of bankrupting the company, which is also very crazy. Pregnant, nobody knows. So,
because even when someone messes up, even when someone does something that I personally feel is awful and insensitive and irresponsible and ignorant, even that, I don't wish harm on anybody. And I hope that Fiona is okay, and I hope that her baby is okay. Right before I wrapped up the script, I was scrolling through Instagram and I found Mob Beauty. And I wanted to share this with you because I thought it was really interesting how they kind of slid in and tried to address what was happening at Youthforia without directly calling it out. Here's the clip.
Every foundation in the world, from the lightest to the deepest, is made with at least these 5 pigments, or a combination of white, yellow, red, black, and even green. With these 5 pigments, you can make almost any skin color and undertone that exists. I have a lot of experience creating foundation. I started over 35 years ago with my first foundation palette at MAC Cosmetics, up until today with Mob Beauty Blurring Ceramide Cream Foundation with over 36 shades and 4 undertones. I even helped Crayola develop their Colors of the World crayons so every child could find their shade in a crayon box. Here is one of the charts we use to help develop the undertones at Mob. You can see how the undertones go from pink to neutral to gold and then olive. Depending on the depth and the undertone, it will determine which combination of the 5 pigments we use. I would call myself a medium neutral to golden undertone, and I'll show you how we use the 5 pigments to get to my shade. So we've got the white in the middle, and I'm gonna add some yellow. I'm gonna need some red as well. But you can see that that's a little bit too pink, so I'm gonna have to dull it down a little bit. And that's what the black is used for. The black kind of dulls the color down a little bit. But because I have a little bit of olive undertone, I'm just gonna add a touch of green, just a touch. And that's how you need the 5 pigments to get to my depth and my undertone. In conclusion, foundation shades are nuanced. Everyone has a unique undertone, from the lightest shade to the deepest shade, which is why using a combination of the 5 pigments are essential in order to create the unique undertones needed.
As always, I will keep you posted if I see anything new. I would imagine we will hear at some point something else happening with the story with Youthforia, because the brand can't hide forever. In business news this week, we have lost two beauty brands, one that I had very much heard of and one that I had never heard of. We'll see whether you've heard of one or both or neither of them. So let's start with the first one, which is the skincare brand Boscia. They were a clean beauty brand operating out of California, but owned by a Japanese conglomerate. They announced their closure on Wednesday on their social media accounts as well as their website. Deborah Rogeson, she is the former VP of sales over at Boscia. She reminisced with Beauty Independent, touting their advances in using airless components. She said in an interview, quote, "Now a lot of brands are doing airless components, but they were one of the first." Boscia became well known in 2010 because they came out with this peel-off black charcoal mask. It was called the Luminizing Black Charcoal Mask. And that was when social media was really starting to get its footing, and seeing that peel-off mask come off was very satisfying for a lot of people. And nobody had really seen a black peel-off mask before. Some people had never seen just a peel-off mask before. So that brought a lot of customers into the brand, and charcoal became one of their hero ingredients that they started putting in pretty much everything. They came out with those black pore strips, and of course you can really see all the gunk coming out of a pore strip if the pore strip is black. Again, satisfying for some people. I cannot. It's not my thing, but I know some people enjoy seeing that stuff. I can't do it. But my point is that they were very popular. In 2017, they came out with a product that really caught my eye because my girl Raw Beauty Christie had used it on her YouTube channel. It was this cleansing ball. It was like a jelly ball of, like, it was cleanser somehow, and you wet it and you put it all over your face and it takes your makeup off. And it was just really fun. It was just a very, very different product. I'd never seen anything like that before. In the article that's linked down below, they alluded to that Boscia just couldn't keep up with the oversaturated skincare market, that they just couldn't find their footing anymore. There are so many charcoal products out there now. So it was like, you know, they just couldn't figure out how they were going to stand out in the market, and that's what killed the brand. Boscia is currently offering a 55% discount on all products on its site, which is scheduled to shutter on May 31st. Ulta Beauty still has a couple of Boscia products over there on its site, the $32 resurfacing treatment toner and the $38 probiotic exfoliating powder face and scalp. The next brand, I will admit to you, I have never heard of, but I think part of the reason why I've never heard of it is that they were not marketing to me. They had a very specific consumer in mind, and that was Gen Z specifically, and also Gen Zs who were very eco-conscious. It's the brand Starface. They had a spin-off brand called Plus. Starface I have heard of. They make little pimple patches, and I think they started with star-shaped little pimple patches. They might make other shapes now, but point is it's little stickers that you can put on your face. Very, very cute. My 16-year-old Phoenix loves little pimple patches like that. Totally very well marketed to Gen Z. But this concept did not take off. It was a sheet that was composed of body wash, and it would dissolve, and you would use that soap to wash your body. It was like one single use per sheet. Even though it's closing now, investors were actually informed that they were going to close all the way back in July of last year, after it was clear that Plus wasn't gaining enough traction with consumers to drive strong sales at Target specifically, because Starface had been sold at Target, and then they used that leverage to get the Plus products into Target. It was kind of an interesting concept for people that were eco-conscious, because supposedly it would slash water usage as well as carbon emissions by using these regularly. But the fatal flaw in this is that in order to use these, you had to really change your shower habits. Weighing in on this was Maggie Spicer. She's the founder of Source Beauty ESG. It's a sustainability and social impact advisory not connected to Plus. She believed it failed because, quote, no brand can exist on sustainability alone. She added, consumers are always going to let performance, efficacy, and marketing carry the day. So while Plus had incredible positioning for their sustainability practices, they may have struggled to find the right product market fit overall. A big challenge for this brand was just confusion, because, you know, you go into the store and you see it and it's like, but how do I use this? If the soap dissolves If the sheet dissolves, how does that actually work? And you have to convince people to change up what is relatively mindless when you've got your shower routine. I know my shower routine is I take my freaking spongy thing, my little poofy thing, and I put of my body wash, and then I rub it all over my body, and then I'm done. It's very easy. It's very mindless. I don't have to think about it. But with this, supposedly you had to keep it outside of the shower, and then you had to only bring it in when you were ready to use it, because if it got wet, it would immediately start to dissolve, which adds another layer of complexity that I feel like consumers just didn't need. And also, let's say I'm in Target and I see this and I don't know what it is or how it works, and I know that my comfortable thing is right here that I already love. Why am I switching? Why am I doing that? Pricing, of course, because this is eco-friendly, it's a whole different system. It has a very complex manufacturing process. They were expensive. They were $16.50 for 16 sheets. But let's be real, most liquid body washes that everybody knows how to use, they're under $10 in mass market stores. I did the math on this, kind of Googling things a little bit, and you could get out of one traditional bottle of body wash 3 to 4 times as many uses as you could get out of one pack of Plus. And it's less complicated, and you already know how to use it. Even though there are a lot of eco-conscious customers out there, people are looking for that trade-off. How much am I really helping the environment versus how much does this cost? How convenient is this? Do I like this product? People will choose the lower cost, easier to use product over something that's it just wasn't worth it, is what it comes down to. I'm super curious to hear what you have to say about these brands closing, Boscia and Plus. Do you have any strong thoughts either way? Let me know in the comments. A majority stake in another beauty brand has been sold, and this time it is Kiko Milano. El Cateran has entered into a definitive agreement to acquire a majority stake in the Italian beauty brand from their founders, the Percassi family. The family will keep a significant stake in the brand, and Antonio Percassi will remain as president. The financial terms of the deal were not disclosed. I did not realize how big Kiko Milano is. It is a very big beauty brand according to the financials they listed in this article. They are the largest privately owned color cosmetics brand in the world. In 2023, they recorded net revenue of approximately $800 million and nearly a 20% year-over-year growth. I was not aware of this, that they are in so many retail networks, more than 1,100 stores, and 66 countries. Also, of course, they have their e-commerce platform as well. But El Cateran is not a beauty company. They don't own beauty brands. It's not their thing. So just to give you some examples of some things that El Cateran has invested in, Uncle Julio's Mexican restaurant, Just for Dog food, Birkenstock shoes, and kids clothing brand Hannah Anderson. I did not recognize any brands under their listing that are beauty brands. There may be, and I just hadn't heard of them, but it's just not their specialty. So it seems like they're going to take over the business end of things and let the family that had owned it run the beauty stuff. But of course, when you don't own your brand anymore, the majority stakeholders are the ones that are calling the shots. So we will see whether the business people think they know more than the beauty people and how much give they're going to give the people that really know the beauty end. So I'm very curious to see the direction that Kiko Milano is going to go in now that this is happening. This week, U.S. President Joe Biden officially signed the legislation that labeled TikTok as a, quote, foreign adversary controlled application. He signed that into law, and that set the clock ticking on the app. This could potentially result in a blanket ban of TikTok all over the United States by January of 2025. The new law requires TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, to either sell the platform or shut it down. ByteDance has vowed to challenge the legislation in court, but has reportedly said if it fails, it would prefer to pull the plug. But what's interesting about this is you would think that the bad press on TikTok would stop brands from wanting to advertise on TikTok, but it seems like the opposite is happening. So like, for example, Rare Beauty just did a pop-up with TikTok specifically the TikTok shop last week. News outlet Business of Fashion speculates one of the reasons why brands don't seem to be taking the TikTok ban too seriously is because our US government has been threatening to ban TikTok since 2019 at the end of the Trump administration. And that article that's linked down below says there's actually been a surge in TikTok advertising, the opposite of what a lot of people thought would happen. The beauty and health category on the TikTok shop is the #1 category for sales. They had $396 million in sales over the 6 months that ended on January 31st. TikTok shop ranked 9th among online beauty and wellness retailers in February, according to Nielsen IQ and a Rakuten Intelligence survey. Apparel and accessories is the second largest category for the time period with $376 million in sales. Since the initial talk of the TikTok ban in the US, talent agents who manage influencers have been trying to convince influencers to go off of TikTok and start bringing their content to other platforms. But we've seen this go down before. Do you remember Vine? And how hard it was for the Vine creators to jump over to YouTube, which was the primary platform back then. Only a handful of people made it. I think it might be easier now because basically what's been happening lately is because TikTok's been crushing it, YouTube and Instagram specifically have been trying to build a TikTok on their own platform with Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. So I don't think it's going to be as hard for TikTok creators to jump platforms. And looking at this as a job, as a career, it's not like TikTok itself has been paying creators very well. So they're not going to miss much when they jump over to not being paid well on Instagram and not being paid well on YouTube. The career for YouTube is in the full-length content. The monetization of the two types of content are completely different. They're calculated very, very differently. And if you're just doing YouTube Shorts, it's a lot harder to make a living off of it than if you're doing longer form content. I do believe, though, YouTube Shorts does pay content creators better than TikTok. So there is a space on other platforms because YouTube and Instagram have been trying to copy TikTok for so long, but it's just not the same. So if TikTok gets banned in early 2025 and TikTok creators need to jump platforms, I don't think it's going to be a thing like when YouTubers have tried to go to mainstream television, which has been tragic. It's been awful. I don't know anybody that's made it. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been awful because it's essentially very, very similar. I think they're going to be okay. But only time will tell. We shall see. And in legal news this week, I did it right on the first shot this time. I'm getting better at this. Benzene is back in the news because Unilever is now settling a lawsuit for benzene contamination in a spray deodorant that was released by a company that they used to own, the US branch of Suave. Unilever does continue to operate Suave outside of the US and Canada, but they sold the Suave North America branch to Yellowwood Partners in February of 2023. The settlement comes in order to resolve the allegations that the brand's aerosol deodorants were reportedly contaminated with benzene, which we know is a known carcinogen. Products named in the suit were the Suave 24-Hour Protection Powder Aerosol Antiperspirant and the Suave 24-Hour Protection Fresh Aerosol Antiperspirant. Benzene is said to have been found in products purchased between January 1st of 2018 and March 7th of 2024. And what's interesting here is they actually did a voluntary recall of products in 2022, March specifically, but these dates carry on to 2024. The article doesn't say this explicitly, but it seems like benzene contamination was found in products even after the recall in 2022. Under the settlement agreement, if you bought these products, you can get your money back if you show a receipt and submit a claim. If you don't have a receipt, you can still get $3.29 for each product, up to 3 products per household, which is the average price of the products. According to reports, the final approval hearing is scheduled for September of this year. To benefit from the Suave benzene settlement, class members must submit a valid claim by July 15th of 2024. So if you have purchased these products, whether you have a receipt or not, that link will be down below. We're starting the next story with a little personal anecdote because when I was a child, I wanted anything but brown eyes. I thought brown eyes were boring. They were actually a little bit deeper than they are today. And I had this really dark hair, these really dark eyes, very pale skin, and I just thought I would look so much cooler with green eyes or blue eyes. But the only way to achieve that, for me at least, that I knew of was colored contact lenses. And I always found that a lot of colored contact lenses, at least when I was looking into them many years ago, looked kind of fake, and I just didn't want that in my life. But now there is an opportunity for people to actually change their real eye color. It costs $12,000 and only takes about 20 minutes. The procedure is called keratopigmentation, and it is a procedure to permanently change one's eye color that has been performed for at least a decade in Europe, but is gaining popularity in the United States, even though it is not FDA approved. Only a handful of clinics in the US perform this procedure. Half of them are located in the New York City metropolitan area. Before this, besides contact lenses, there was another way that you could change your eye color. There are implants that you can do. They take a fine silicone prosthetic and they surgically place it over your existing iris by cutting a slit in the cornea. And they usually need to be removed within a matter of years because they just don't last that long. The American Academy of Ophthalmologists, or AAO, strongly cautions against the procedure. They cite risks of reduced vision or blindness, cataracts, injury to the iris and cornea, and pressure buildup inside the eye that can lead to glaucoma. There's also laser depigmentation, where they essentially fry the natural pigment in your iris to make it a lighter shade.
They literally shoot a laser to your iris, and very slowly, very little by little, they start burning the melanin, revealing the color that you have underneath. It's very important that you understand this is a very slow process. It can take from weeks to months.
But it's not very customizable and you can't really find it in the US. Keratopigmentation. The lead doctor who has been doing this, he performs the procedures in New York City. He's actually been performing this procedure since 2013, and because of that, he's gathered a lot of data on the long-term effects of it. He published a paper to show that of the 204 patients that he's done this with, there was a 12% complication rate. He mostly studied light sensitivity as the main problem that people were having, and also some color fade in the original result where people wanted to go back in and add more color because it is fully customizable. He said about 7% of patients want to have that happen. Apparently, the complications to this procedure are not that dissimilar from LASIK. So how does this work, you might be asking? What is going on here? So this is the thing. KTP is performed with a laser and a mineral pigment, and they insert it into the cornea using a needle. The procedure doesn't actually alter the color of your eye, but places the pigment over top of your natural eye color. Apparently, the FDA and the AAO are very aware this procedure is going on, but there seems to be some kind of loophole where if the doctor makes them sign something that clearly says it is not FDA approved, they are just letting these doctors do this. It is important to note, though, that some doctors are very skeptical of this procedure, including Dr. Diane Halal-Campo. She said in an interview with Allure, quote, "We only get one set of eyes, and to put them at risk in the name of vanity is ridiculous. While keratopigmentation may be considered safer than other cosmetic options, none of them are truly safe." And as a reminder, the results are irreversible. There is a much longer article, of course, that is going to be linked below if you want to know more details about this, but I would love to know your thoughts about this. I don't think I'm going to be getting this done. I personally like my eye color. It's lightened a little bit and it makes me a little happier, but some of the results are absolutely beautiful on the right people. Is this something you would ever consider getting done if it was FDA approved? I'd love to know your thoughts. And finally, in our lighthearted story of the week, e.l.f. is back again with another commercial, this time with tennis legend Billie Jean King. And they aren't advertising products, they're advertising a challenge to businesses. e.l.f. has started a campaign encouraging corporations to add more women and diverse candidates to their boards of directors. If you're not familiar with Billie Jean King, she is famous for being like I said, a tennis legend. She is also an advocate for both women and LGBTQ rights, and she's very famous for a specific tennis match called the Battle of the Sexes. This was the match where she defeated former #1 ranked men's tennis player Bobby Riggs. So, of course, we are going to take a look at the 4 30-second long commercials. Now, they both have the same intro and outro, so I'm going to try to trim those as best as I can so it just makes for a little bit more of a pleasant viewing experience.
Figure 24 should be the first page of...
Hi, you guys. Hi. How's it going in there?
It's Billie Jean King.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
This is great.
Billie Jean King?
Fact incoming.
Oh. Women only make up
27% of U.S. corporate boards, yet they're 47% of the workforce. It's so broken.
Can we fix it?
The printer or the inequality?
Why not both?
Welcome aboard.
Heck yeah! Sorry, I think I broke something else.
Billie Jean King.
Just serving some facts. Heads up.
The average U.S. corporate board is only
12% diverse.
And 88% white?
That's the math.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And preposterous.
And unbelievable.
And unprofitable. Game, set, fact.
Oh, we gotta do something about this.
Hey, BJK.
Hey, let's talk profits. Fact attack.
Ethnically diverse board
Are 13% more likely to outperform boards that aren't diverse.
I 100% did not know that.
It's a learning curve. This is so much fun.
Wow, there's a lot of facts here.
And I think what makes this really cool is that e.l.f. is positioned as an authority in this area, because if you've been watching this show and you've been hearing the updates on e.l.f., they are crushing it. And it looks like e.l.f. is attributing some of their massive success to their diversity in the upper levels of their company. As of March 2024, e.l.f. Beauty has had 20 consecutive quarters of growth, with net sales increasing 85% in the third quarter of 2023 to $270.9 million. So it looks like they are using this positive growth. I mean, they opened up the New York Stock Exchange not that long ago as a celebration of being one of the biggest growing stocks in the entire New York Stock Exchange. They are using that leverage to encourage this diversity in other boards, in other companies, saying that it's not just about doing the right thing and diversity and inclusion, all that. It's about that it is actually good for business to have diversity in your business. Who would have thunk it? And let's be real here, it's also a good PR move for e.l.f. as well. Is that the general motivation for this? Probably, but I don't hate it. And that, my friend, was What's Up in Makeup top news this week. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, thank you as always to the What's Up in Makeup Facebook hunters. Their names are scrolling below me. Thank you so much for all of your submissions this week. I appreciate you with my entire heart and soul. Our chat today is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Hopefully you can hang out, join us. We're going to be talking about makeup. Hopefully you can join us. If you can't, it's no problem at all. Very easy to find on the replay. If you're subscribed, it's just going to be right in your subscription feed. Very easy to find. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay too, but it's going to take you a little longer to find live chat. You're going to have to go to my channel page, click on the tab that says live. That's where they're housed. Or you can go down below. There is a What's Up in Makeup live chat podcast that I've been keeping up with. And that has all of the live chats that we have done over the past year and a half. And just a heads up, next week we are going to have both live chat and both episodes of What's Up in Makeup. But the following week, I am taking a trip with my mom. We are going on a cruise to the Caribbean. We are taking a month Mother's Day mommy-daughter trip to the Caribbean, and I'm so excited. We've been planning this for a really long time. You know, you have to book these things way far ahead, so I'm so excited. So there will not be any What's Up in Makeup for 2 weeks, but we will have live chat that following that second week. We'll be back, and that'll be the first video back on the channel when I get back from the cruise with my mama. But if you enjoyed this so much, especially if you are new to the channel, I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple videos over here for you. The bottom one is last week's top news segment of What's Up in Makeup. The top one, YouTube is going to pick a video for you from my catalog that they think that you will enjoy based on your current viewing history. But if you do have to go because you got other things you want to do or you got to do, it's no problem. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did, and mad love to you, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye!